I've spent a lot of time, money and energy on this incredible training for you as salon owners and industry professionals, and discover how to make 10K plus weeks in your skin and beauty therapy business. I would love you all to watch this training. It breaks down how I create and created my 10K weeks and beyond 20 years ago, and shows you exactly the method of how I do it. It's about a 35-minute training. I'm going to drop the link after my little chat and training here today for you all to take away with you the opportunity to dive in and learn how to discover to make 10K plus weeks in your skin and beauty therapy business. This is for anyone in the aesthetic business, whether you're a nurse practitioner, an injectable nurse, a skin therapist, a beauty therapist, eyelash extensions. Covers the whole mirage of everyone in the skin and dermal beauty space. I am excited to announce that, and I will leave the link here today. There's a bit of talk in the industry around contracts at the moment. I went into a bit of a state of shock during the week myself around a misagreement in the agreement in my own personal business space, because it wasn't stated in the contract that there was only allowed for one medical practitioner in the clinic I work in. I'm only there a couple weeks a month because my main focus is on coaching clients. And this exact conversation around agreements and contracts came up with my coaching client today at 10 o'clock. We had a meeting, and she wasn't aware of this situation where she's bought into a business and it came with a beauty therapist. I don't mean like that, but when she bought the business, there was an established beauty therapist employed in the business who remained in the business after she took over. She is now wanting to offer her the opportunity to rent a room from that business. Now I'm talking about this. I'm always talking about this so you can possibly, if you're going through this or need to learn from this or know anyone that needs to know this information, you can share it. Anytime there's a change of agreement, this needs to be a new agreement, and a new agreement needs to be signed, because she wasn't aware that because she wants to move now from an employer situation to a contract situation that she needs to change the agreement. And you definitely do, because that leads to a conversation around what needs to change within the space. What are the boundaries? And I came across this problem too within my business, where there was only a verbal agreement that there was only one medical practitioner allowed in the clinic I rent rooms from. And the verbal agreement was said 16 years ago. Now I've only been there 8 years, so I didn't know about that. And I want to sublet my room, which we're allowed to, but I attracted a GP who does peptide injections, but I didn't know about this. So I want to say here and now, if you have anything that you are changing in your business or up-leveling, or need to state things in a different way, or want to change things within your business, there definitely has to be an agreement, and it needs to be signed and documented and obviously talked about, because it gives you scope, right? It gives you an opportunity to talk about things that need to be, or you're not satisfied with, or what you'd like to see change within the business. Now I just check if anyone's here before I proceed. Yeah, so hashtag me live or replay if you're watching the replay. And is this something that you go to? I'd love to know in this community, have you gone through changes of agreements, or you don't have certain things within your agreement, you think, oh my gosh, I've missed that out, or haven't discussed that factor, because this is where things become really messy, and that messy middle is very awkward. We want to avoid the mess and have things written, because having, in my situation, an agreement 16 years ago when I wasn't there doesn't mean it's valid for me, which was really upsetting to me, straight up. We probably need to go back into our practices and reconsider any contracts or any agreements that need to be looked at. Yeah. And thinking of things like that, I've heard that Fresha, if anyone deals with Fresha, have increased their prices and their agreements, which is really radical. So I want to talk into that for a brief moment, is that if you've been an account with Fresha, because one of my clients who I coach on Fridays has been a client of Fresha's for 8 years, She makes a phenomenal amount of bookings through Fresha, and I don't know how it completely works because I don't use that app. I use another app for bookings. They are willing to negotiate with her a better price and better percentages because she has been a long-term client. So never just do accept when bigger companies put up their prices. It's about like going to the bank or electricity companies. You can negotiate. If you've been a long-term client, you have some power in that to renegotiate an agreement. Yeah, if you're under pressure with any of these sorts of situations, always feel comfortable having a voice of what you would like and what you need for you to keep. Because of course someone like Fresha would want to keep you as a client. So of course, yeah, do your best to reach out to them and contact them if you're with Fresha and see what you can come up with. Today, yes, I wanted to really talk into this subject around a lot of us are just accepting the bare minimum and what are standards. Because most people don't like to feel uncomfortable, and we tend to move away from pain because being uncomfortable, to be frank, is all very consuming, right? It's not just physical pain, mental pain, emotional pain. It's very consuming. It's awful. So generally we move away from pain and want to move towards comfort. And this is what it can look like in our business, is that if you allow yourself to move through the uncomfortable places, whether it's if you're wanting to onboard a new team member or you're having a difficult conversation with a client, whatever it is, or there's a stress going on, there's multiple reasons, isn't there? It's worth going through the discomfort if you know you're going to be rewarded with a better outcome. But do we know that we're going to be rewarded with a better outcome? So this is the thing. We need to be able to hold the rough times to gain the standard and the wins and the gains we want. Because, for example, I know what I offer in my skin therapy business with my skin clients and in my coaching business with my coaching clients, that it is really hard to match the level of care and support that I give my clients, because I go beyond and above with my clients, and there is so much more to each session and each appointment, and so much thought that has gone into it, from preparation to the energy to the content or the information after the session or the treatment. Much so that my coaching clients and my facial clients feel so excited to see me because they know they are in a place of care and I give so much value. If you want to grow in your business, and when I say grow, because I had this conversation with someone that was interested to get my support, but she said, I'm not actually wanting to grow, I just want to expand what I've got. Well, call it expansion, call it growth. It's similar in a way, right? Because if you're up leveling and you're expanding, you're actually going to a better place. So what are our standards? Standards simply mean, how are you using your attention? How are you spending your time? And what are the actual activities? Because often when we think about that, those three things, where are you spending our attention? How are you spending your time? And what are the actual activities? Because a lot of the time, if we break it down into percentages, 80% of our time is on tasks that waste a lot of time. You think of the everyday tasks that you do to operate your business, they are only giving you a small percentage of the result. But if we flipped it, and if we spend 20% of our time on areas that give us 80% of the result, which is being with clients, right, in our businesses. So if we be with clients, 20% of that, if we spent really focused 20% of our energy on high-end clients that are actually really engaged in what you offer, you're going to get 80% of the income from 20% of your clients. So I'll put it this way. If you're spending most of your time after work watching Netflix or just flopping around, which is all fine, that is very unproductive time. So I've made a rule where I don't, or a boundary or a standard is the word, that I don't actually watch Netflix during the week at all, because I'm very unproductive, I'm too tired, and I'm just zoning out. Whereas if I come back into my space and just spend 1 hour of actually focusing on doing something that's going to generate better results, like marketing, SMSing clients, responding to emails, responding to my wonderful content creator, all those things that generate better results, I'll get 80% more income rather than flopping around doing nothing. So we need to actually look at what we're actually creating in our business to get better results. Because the thing is, this comes down to delegation as well. That's what I wanted to talk about today. It's about accessing other people's brains or expertise and skill sets so our business can flourish as well. So if you need support with emails, I have an incredible woman who does PA work. She's like an assistant, and she can do all those tasks that we don't like doing, like data entry and emails. So there is that available. It is worth spending the money offloading and delegating that task when you can spend time on your mastery, which is with your clients and doing home care treatments and consultations. It's about doing less, increasing your standards by decreasing the quality of what you do. Is that making sense? I'd love to hear from you. I'll just say that again because it might have not landed. It's what we want to do is do less, but do more of the tasks that bring in more of the income. Increasing your standards around the tasks that bring in more of the income by decreasing the quality of what you do. So looking at what is worth investing your time and energy in, the quality, and decreasing the quantity of everything you do. Does that make sense to you all? Increasing the quality and decreasing the quantity of everything you do. So you become very focused on 20% of the tasks that give you 80% of the results. Yeah, there's probably a lot to take in because we often don't talk about this, and we end up in this messy middle, and we don't constantly then think about what our vision is for our business because we get caught up in the 80% of things that are wasting a lot of our time, money and energy. So we have to shift gears and be really clear about our vision. And the more clear we become and the why we're doing this, to have more time freedom, more financial freedom, to do the things that you love, to be around the people you love, to have more time to yourself. Whatever it is, your brain needs to know why you are doing what you're doing. Because if it's not lining up, there's not a reason why you're driving and doing what you're doing. You won't be driving it. You'll be just settling, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of people just accept the minimum standard. They accept minimum relationships, whether it's their girlfriends, their partners in life. They just accept a minimum standard of income, a minimum standard of lifestyle, a minimum standard of taking holidays, because we don't like to feel uncomfortable. Because when we feel uncomfortable, it's painful. But if you want to have a higher standard, you want to have a better business, you want to have a greater lifestyle, you want to have better and deeper, more meaningful relationships, you want to feel more connected, it's worth investing the time, the energy, the effort and the money to feel uncomfortable, because growth happens within our comfort zone. Growth doesn't happen within our comfort zone. Growth only happens when we get uncomfortable. And that messy middle is where growth happens, because we're driving towards something we really want and desire. There's a lot to take in there, isn't there? How is this all sitting with you all? I would love you to go away and think about, where are you spending a lot of your time and energy and effort and even finances on things that aren't converting into what you want in your life? So if you're still doing the laundry, if you're still doing emails and you hate doing it, if you're still doing the salon cleaning, whatever those small tasks that are very consuming, and yes, I get it. I was speaking to a coaching client the other day. She said, but it costs money to delegate those tasks. It costs money. But we need to think about, yes, it does. That's the reality. But you can be making more money in doing what you're masterful at, and spend more time in creating more clients coming in. If you make time to spend more time, instead of doing the laundry and delegating that, and the salon cleaning and delegating that, it might not be that. Follow me here. It might be things that are consuming you, where you could be flipping that delegating that and doing other things that you could spend that time in marketing, emailing, SMSing, actually doing treatments, actually doing consultations that actually can bring in hundreds and thousands of dollars every week. So we've got to think smarter so we don't work harder. Well, beauties, I hope this has been incredibly helpful. I really want you to really think hard about how you can get and receive much more out of your business when you're focusing on 20% of your time, money, and energy that gives you 80% more results, income, and a higher and greater lifestyle. So, beauties, here's to an outstanding week, big week ahead, and something to really think about so you can keep in your brilliance, keep in your mastery, keep in your expertise, and don't settle for less, because why would you settle when you know you're deserving of greatness? That was a fantastic little insight and chat. Drop me a comment below what you think of all of that. I look forward to chatting with you real soon, beauties. Bye for now.